Good afternoon, Big Blue Nation. It's Lee, that Kentucky basketball chick. It is Sunday, March 22nd, and Kentucky just finished their round of 32 ball game in a very disappointing loss to Iowa State. It was final score was 82-63. We'll get into the game and we'll get into some other stuff about the game. I know Big Blue Nation right now is just very disappointed. This is not how we wanted this season to end. So after watching that game, let's open a ice cold Dr. Pepper like we normally do. Definitely need one after that disappointing loss. All right, let's get into it. First half. First 8 minutes of the game were great. We were leading by 12. I actually felt like, oh, we're going to pull this off. We're leading by 12. Pope subs Aberdeen out for Jasper Johnson. I love Jasper Johnson as a person. I think he's a great kid. However, that is when I believe we started to collapse. And unfortunately, it's happened almost every game this season. When Pope puts in his reserves, there is a big, big drop off. And we had turnover after turnover. And then the Cyclones went on an 11-0 run. And then we ended the half 1 point behind them. I'm not saying that's why we lost the game. Because there's a lot of other factors. Lots of other factors. But I think it was the start of the collapse. And unfortunately, I just don't understand why Pope doesn't see, hey, the momentum is shifting. We had the momentum. We were up 12. We could have buried this team for sure. We were making our shots. They were not making our shots. Aberdeen was making his shots. I'm tired of hearing the fatigue thing, and I bet that's what he's going to say in his post-game press conferences. That, and then, we got in foul trouble. But when the momentum starts to swing, you call timeout, you regroup, you get a different game plan going on, or you reiterate what you're supposed to be doing, what was working the first time, and you get your reserve out that keeps turning the ball over or making dumb shots and put in your starter. It doesn't matter who that is. That's what you need to do. And Chandler came out swinging, y'all. He made 2 threes, and I thought, this is it. We are going to win this game, and we're going to go on to the Sweet 16. Just a good lesson of let's don't count your chickens before you hatch, because we had a collapse, and then the second half started, and I think when the second half started, we had 12 turnovers. If we could have controlled that and not had as many turnovers and then actually scored on those, on our possessions, we would have won this game. We would have stayed right with them, and it would have been fine. Being 1 point behind it at halftime is not a big deal. We can overcome that. Iowa State came out swinging and started hitting their shots and then turning the ball over. They're a very good defensive team. Very, very good defensive team. So kudos to them. I don't think we had played a team that was like this, that really put pressure on you especially the 3-point line. And then we got in foul trouble. Oweh, Aberdeen, and Chandler all had 3 fouls. Oweh set, I think, a good 6 to 8 minutes on the bench. I mean, we've noticed if he doesn't play close to 35, 38 minutes, we almost don't win the game. So him having to sit on the bench really, really did not help. There at the end, he really tried to keep us alive. He ended up with 18 points at the end of the game. Another double-digit point was, pretty amazing. And then Aberdeen had 20. Malachi Moreno had a better game. Just wasn't it. And then I don't know why Mo and Brandon weren't in the game as much. Of course, Brandon had some pretty stupid turnovers as well, but that's pretty expected. He'll do something completely right, and then we get something on the other end of the spectrum. But I'm just really sad. I'm really disappointed how this season ended, especially after Friday with that Oweh shot to end regulation to send it overtime, and then we win. And I just want one more game. This is my favorite time of year, and when your team's not playing, it's really, really sad. And I just feel like Big Blue Nation as a whole has not had a good, deep run in March, and I was hoping that we'd at least get there to Friday and see who we play. If we played Tennessee, we may have been able to beat them for the third time. I know it's the third time, and last year that didn't work out for us, but I think we could have, and then maybe gotten to the Elite Eight, which would have been really cool. But can't be living in the land of what if, because our team was the team that we had. We had really, really high expectations, especially after we beat Purdue on an exhibition game. And then injuries happen. And then it didn't look like the team was gelling. We lost games we should have won. But with all that being said, there have been some amazing moments this year. There have been. We beat Tennessee twice. We beat Arkansas at home in Bud Walton. Nobody has done that this season. I don't think they did last season either, and we did. We went on a 8-9 game run, which we didn't think was going to happen. We may have played the first two games or the first game of the SEC tournament, but we won 2 out of them and could have beat Florida. Florida's really good though, y'all. So did they play? I think they play today. So we'll see what happens with them. But there's been some good memories with this team, and definitely some good memories with Otega Oweh and Denzel Aberdeen, who are seniors and are out of eligibility and will no longer be able to play college basketball because of that. And I just hate for this to be the ending. Wish it would have been closer. If we weren't going to, I wish we would have won, but if we weren't going to win, maybe it could have been a little closer. But we've seen it all year. That's what this team has been. We win some really good games and then we get clobbered. And it's just really sad. And it's really sad because this is what I do. This time of year is my favorite. Basketball season is my favorite. This is between October and the beginning of April. That's what I do. And I know that's like 6 months of the year of college basketball. My husband gets very, very annoyed with it sometimes. But that's what I do. That's why I do this podcast. This is why I do the TikTok reels and all this stuff, is because I absolutely love college basketball and I absolutely love Kentucky basketball. So, I just want to say thank you, Otega Oweh. These last 2 years watching you play basketball have been so much fun. We've had some really, really great games, and you've made some really, really great plays, like the 2 Oklahoma wins, and then the buzzer beater this time, and you're definitely going to be a Kentucky basketball fan household name, in my opinion, at least in my household. I have your jersey. I wore it to the SEC tournament, and I was hoping to be able to get it signed. So if there's any way I can get it signed, somebody help me with that, because I would love to get my jersey signed by him. just a lot of excitement and a lot of memories. And I just want to say thank you, because Kentucky basketball at the end of 2024 um, was very frustrating. And it was very just, we had just gotten beaten by Oakland, and it was just almost hopeless. And Mark Pope coming into this job and recruiting you and getting you to come to Kentucky, I think helped just revitalize the fan base, and especially with me. So again, thank you, Otega. I want to see you do big things, and I hope I get to see you play in the NBA. Let's just I I'm hoping that for you, because um you definitely have the talent to do it. You do. I also want to say thank you to Denzel Aberdeen. Uh, Coming off a championship at Florida and deciding, hey, I'm going to go play at the University of Kentucky, and not really knowing what your role was at the beginning because of injuries and stuff. And then you just took over and said, I'm the point guard and I'm going to do this, and I'm really going to make this offense work. And it's been fun watching you in a Kentucky jersey too. I'm so thankful that you decided to come here. And I hope to see big things for you too, Denzel. Um, so let's talk about what's next. What's next? The transfer portal. It opens. Did I hear April 1st? I think is when it opens. Let me look. I don't want to give out false information. Let's see. Opens April 7th. Sorry, I was a week off. April 7th. We'll see who we might go after. I've heard that the Belmont player, that's really, really good. He averages like 15 points a game, is entering the transfer portal. Maybe Pope should go talk to him. I do think he might go with his coach that's going to, I think it's Kansas State. So that might not even be an option. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the Dink Pate recruitment. He is a G Leaguer. I am not 100% sure how I feel about that. I know his thing is a little bit different. He went to the G League right out of high school. He's never played collegiate sports. He did not sign a certain type of deal. I've heard he's really, really good. And then also there's a British player that they've talked about. And then we'll see what happens with Tyron Stokes. I really am curious. I do think it's down to us in Kansas. It would be a big get if Mark Pope could pull that off. And I think the fan base needs that. I think it would be really cool. I know he's got that Tyron has a little bit of an attitude problem, possibly locker room stuff. But if you want the number one player, go get him. Deal with that later. That's what I say. But that transfer portal season is nuts. It was nuts last year. It'll be nuts this year. And it'll be interesting because right now I have no clue who we're going to get. And I also don't know who will be coming back next year. I think your main priorities is Chandler and Moreno. I would love BG to come back next year. So if you hear this, BG, please come back. Please. Please. And I would love for Mo to come back. I really would like for Mo to come back. And I know we have Braden Hawthorne as a red shirt, and I think he has said he is coming back. Jalen Lowe has said the plan is to come back. He was point blank asked that in the locker room. I mean, what are you going to say during tournament time? But I did like this team. As much as they frustrated me and frustrated everybody, I did love this team. I did. I did. I really did love this team. So it is sad that it is coming to an end. And the way it's coming to an end is even sadder. But sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. So I looked up, middle of October is about 206 days away. That's about when Big Blue Madness happens. I'm already doing a countdown. But until then, I will still be watching the NCAA tournament because I love basketball. I know Kansas and St. John's is about to tip off. I don't know exactly who I'm going to be rooting for. So if you guys have any suggestions, I think Texas would be great as a dark horse. St. John's because of Patino. And I know y'all might come at me for this, but including Arkansas, yes, if it would be kind of the icing on the cake for this year for Cal to get not only SEC championship, but also a national championship. That would be the icing on the cake. But you know, Texas looked really good last night when I watched them play. But they've gone all the way from the first four, so I don't know. We'll see. They'll play Thursday, I believe. So, still 2 more weeks of basketball. So, just the Kentucky Wildcats are no longer playing. It's really sad. But yeah, let me know who you're cheering for in the comments. Again, please subscribe, like, follow me on TikTok. I am on Instagram as well. That is that Kentucky basketball chick. But until we do another one of these, let's go Cats!